Alrighty, hello all and welcome back for another Review My Build session. This is just a session where I live stream and I look at people's builds that they've posted on the Discord server for me to look at, and I give some friendly feedback. I'm not here to do some critical analysis of people's things. I'm not here to be mean or to troll people. Just taking a look at stuff, getting ideas for my own builds, and giving a little constructive feedback. That's the goal. So if you do have a build, I try to do this once a week, and I do post all of my VODs to the community channel, and even if you're not around, you can go through and you can see what I have to say about your builds. So if you post stuff in Discord, that's a great way to do it. I do prioritize trying to review people's stuff that are actually around on stream. So if you do catch me streaming, feel free to pop in the Discord and drop stuff in, and I will look at your stuff right away. All right, let's get started with the first thing I have for this. I'm gonna head down to a planet for that. Here's a planet. There's the fast way. I think I had a couple tanks and some other stuff, specifically from Ph.D Composer that I did not get working last time, which I should have been able to. So I'm pretty sure I have scripts enabled now, so hopefully that's not a problem again. I do need to get my phone set up because I'm on a one-screen setup, and I can't see alerts if I don't have my phone. So I'm going to go grab that real quick, and then I'll be back and we'll check out some builds. All right, cool. We are all set up now. My headset picked a great time to break too, so now that's kind of a little screwy. Hopefully everyone can hear me. Hopefully anyone can hear me, for that matter. But I figure I'll find out soon enough. We've got some stuff for me to check out. I'll subscribe to this right away. Always takes me forever to actually get set up. I haven't streamlined this process yet. There we go. Someone submitted a Camel ship. We're going to have to look at that in a little bit. I want to check out some other stuff first here. What were they called? Let's see if we can get this one running first. This one wouldn't move for me last time, but I think it's going to be fine this time. If I remember right, I do get in back here. Okay. That just changes that stuff. That's a rotor lock, I assume. No idea what the pistons are for. There's no instructions on this bad boy. There's only one bar, too. Now, I thought it would work if I had scripts enabled without any difficulty, but apparently I'm still doing something wrong. Let's triple check that we have scripts enabled on this. I want to go 3 hours doing this and then find out I still didn't have scripts enabled. Alright, load game. Review my build. Setting. Just gonna make sure everything looks right. In-game scripts is checked, so it should be okay. Everything else looks good to me. Alright, back in game. Blue. Sometimes it takes a little bit for my workshop to update when I subscribe to something. There we go. It's another skid tank. I swear, if I don't get this one to move either, I'm gonna die. Hey, yeah. Hey, this one's working. So I don't know what was up with the other one, but this one's working just fine. That's kind of cool. Got the T-69 on the side. Feels just fine to drive. Except it's only got 2 thrusters to the side, so I'm just gonna it's a drifting tank. You steer with gyros, which I guess makes sense for anything that floats like this. I can still drive while I'm using this, which is kind of cool, honestly. I can still go forwards, because I use the gyros to turn, so I can't turn while I'm in the turret. I can just go forwards or backwards. Can I take out a tree? Apparently I'm not a very good shot. This is pretty cool though. I've never actually, there we go. I've never actually built a tank in SE. And I'm sure it outperforms tiny wheels actually being used as wheels or treads. Unless you have like no damage on, then maybe treads are okay, but they still seem like they'd be slower than this. Alright, yeah, I can aim all the way around backwards. I'm a horrible shot. Some lights in the front. Hey, I got that tree. Stationary objects. It'd be kind of fun to do a tank battle with things like this. It's been on my list of things to try for a long time. Maybe not specifically with tanks, but with some sort of land vehicle where one person's driving and the other person's using like a large turret of some sort. I definitely think that would be cool. Like, what else is on this vehicle? Just a ton of batteries, wheels. Yeah, I think it would be a lot of fun. We need to do that for one of the random events that we have on a weekend. Gotta find a good grid to do it with. Maybe I'll actually design something at some point. Pretty simple, actually. There isn't a lot of complicated stuff on this. Pod racing? How would you do pod racing? Like hover pod kind of thing? Would you do the same kind of, like zero friction tires maybe? Or you could try to use the new blocks and have it hover at a specific height. I think I've always wanted to try and build one of those, so that's another. If I can build a nice one that works well, and we can find a relatively like smooth place on Pertam maybe, that has a whole bunch of those little hills but is otherwise smooth, we could pod race around there. Did it work for you? Panzer posted a somewhat pod racer looking thing. I'm gonna check that out. Ah, that's too bad. Smacking into the ground is generally not a good thing. Yeah, this looks like some sort of speeder, right? So we'll see if I can get it to actually work. I have a poor track record with that. Okay, maybe it's just a ship. Not entirely certain. Yeah, it doesn't really, like, you can just fly around in it. I want one that maintains a specific height. 60 meters per second. Yeah, this actually looks pretty nice, I have to admit. It looks like a, a speeder of some sort. It handles a little funny because it's using the subgrid script. It must have the subgrid script because it's got thrusters on the subgrids. Yeah, thruster programmable block. I don't know what script that is, but it's a pretty popular one. It doesn't feel like I'm moving 100 meters per second, but apparently I am. This is actually kind of interesting because I have my thrusters on. You can see the inertial dampeners are off, but I'm not dropping out of the sky. So that's pretty interesting. This is kind of a speeder in that sense, that just kind of drifts along, and it only goes up if I really force it to go up. Yeah, it lets you get nicely angled designs, that's for sure. See the subgrid's jittering super hard though, and I do veer to the left occasionally. It's pretty cool though. If something like this was all piped up, I would use it in survival. I'd fly around in something like this to visit people. Yeah, as long as it's only a few, like this is probably 3 grids. You could print up either side. Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be super easy to build, but it wouldn't be the end of the world to do either. If it had like 50 subgrids, I certainly wouldn't do it in survival, but something like this is reasonable. I think it would be cool if you could, for a speeder, you could do it similar to this, but you could have a event controller that detects when you get like below 10 meters or something, and then it switches on a AI flight control that has a minimum height of like 15 meters. So if you get too low, it automatically like takes control and brings you back up to 15 meters and then switches itself back off. And that would be like somewhat effective for a vehicle like this. It's pretty satisfying to fly. Can't complain about this one too much. It's just not survival ready, really. I guess it is because you do at least have access to all of the reactors, so you can hand feed it, but I don't like having to do that. I think the event controller would really... Oh. Yeah, I would use the event controller like in combination with a flight AI, I think. That might work better. I really don't know. I haven't experimented with it, so... All right. Yeah, the paint job on the last one looked nice. I think using the weldless armor to added to that effect. Yeah, building a speeder that actually flies and building a skimmer that just skims along the surface. Those are both things that are on my to-do list that I have never actually done. This is a very similar front to a vehicle I built a long time ago, and it's using the same size wheels and the same central suspension thing. I have a feeling this Rover is going to work really, really nice. Honestly, I'm going to paste in the one I built. The fronts are so similar, but I suppose if you do a side by side with these cockpits, it's always going to look similar. Yeah, a lot of the Star Wars speeders would be pretty cool if you could make them functional in the game. Oh, my Rover is much smaller than this one. Similar look though. Mine's prepared to have me roll it over like I usually do. I'm sure there's some way to do it, especially if you use like scripts or something. I'm sure there's a way to do it with that, but I have a feeling there's going to be a way to do it without scripts, just using the new AI blocks and event controller. Central camera, central light, central camera. The central camera is super nice for these side-by-side Rover designs. They have their camera really low to the ground, which seems a little dangerous to me. They're also using beam blocks here, which look cool, but are significantly less durable than blast doors or something. It fits the look of their Rover, though. Yep, I can crouch underneath it. I always like being able to do that. They've got quite a bit of cargo on here. I guess it is a long-distance transport Rover, so that makes sense. Just a whole ton of cargo. This is, like, there's not a whole lot of ways to make connections. This is, again, very similar to another Rover I built from the small grid only series. This is the first Rover I built. It has the same like hookup thing in the back with these types on the side. I gotta paste that in. This is actually crazy. People that have probably never seen each other's builds end up coming up with like the same design stuff because you're limited to doing it if you're trying to really pack stuff in. I don't remember what I called that Rover, honestly. I feel like I just called it Rover or something. Oh, it was truck. I never had a proper name for the small grid only truck. It was just like, I just called it truck. that was its name. It was just kind of weird. So you can see the back here. Yeah, they only connect in so many ways exactly. I don't even have the brakes on mine. But I use the exact same thing where I have large blocks down the middle. I gotta park this. What is going on here? Because I have to use the parking brake. And then you have to use these blocks to turn, and then you put these right along the sides. And it's like the exact same setup, pretty much. And you can access these through the side, which is kind of nice. That's exactly how I have mine. I feel like their wheels are gonna, if they push up, they're gonna catch on that. Because I had problems with my wheels catching, and my wheels are like not even underneath that block. In fact, I was trying to make this look nicer and like putting blocks like that, and the wheels catch on these blocks, which is why there aren't any there now. It was a little bit frustrating when I was working on that vehicle. So I'm a little bit worried that the wheels are going to catch if they get compressed. And if you're loading up all of these cargoes, I feel like it's probably going to. But let's take this for a little bit of a drive. They do have all of their wheels turning, which I guess isn't bad, as long as you don't tip. I kind of want to take this around the track, my per dam race track. I have gyro. 4 gyros? That's probably enough for a vehicle this size. Ooh, yeah. I can get going on a nice wheelie just turning. That's a little bit scary. Alright. Let's take this to the racetrack. Unfortunately, we're in the wrong world for that, so I'm going to have to reload. I also think we're in the middle of nowhere in this world, so I might have to teleport around. I think I like testing ground vehicles more than I like testing a lot of other stuff. I don't know why. There's just more to try out with them. Usually vehicles that fly, it's like it either flies or it doesn't. And then you can be like, oh well, it handles okay or it doesn't handle okay. But as long as it flies, it really doesn't matter too much. Yeah, we were a long ways away because it's nighttime here. Alright. Do they have a camera on the hotbar? They have a camera, but it's not on the hotbar. Guess I'll just drive it from third-person view. I think it's going to do well. Which is kind of good for this court. There's plenty of gyros to make sure you always land level, which is always good. Back sticks out a little bit far. I guess it doesn't seem oddly far, but it could be an issue. And the front bumper is a little bit low. I think the front bumper is going to bottom out on this course in a few places. I should really time how fast I can do the course in these vehicles. It might give me a better sense of how well they drive. This one's capped out at about 45 meters per second with the current tuning. And I'm not tipping on turns like that where I'm going max speed, so this is where I think the front's going to bottom out, pretty much guaranteed. It actually didn't. I slowed down enough that I don't... Yeah, it actually didn't. Nice. I got lost for a second there. Woo. I like testing my cars on this course because this is how I actually drive in the game. So, if I can get around this course without blowing up, I feel okay about the vehicle, building it in survival. Because I don't like slowing down, I just like going. I think for a transport vehicle, this is pretty darn good. It does have a significant amount of storage with the 3 large cargoes, and then I don't even know how many small ones. Looks like 10. That's pretty good. That's the back connector. Yeah, for sure more fun to just jump the hills. I feel like it's safer too a lot of times. If you know your vehicle can can land a jump like that, then you're almost better just jumping it off a cliff than trying to like go down the cliff, because you might catch and then start rolling or something if you try and go down it slowly. So yeah, I just always jump the cliffs. I am on 2 wheels. Oh. Almost didn't make that turn. We're going to take that jump up in the left there. We're not going to finish the course. We're just going to turn around and take that jump when we get up there. I want to see if it can land. Again, I think it's empty cargo, unless they spawned it in with cargo. So when it's full of cargo, I don't know if it would make a big jump like that without bottoming out, but we can certainly try it while it's empty. So we are going to switch and start doing the course the other way for a second. Make sure we land nice and level. Ooh. I mean, it bottomed out a little bit, but they actually do have the blast doors. I didn't notice that until just... They have these blast doors right here. And I think that actually protected things significantly. I think I would turn them, though, so that they're not transferring damage up into the cockpits. I would just turn these so that they have to transfer the damage all the way inward and then up. That might cause them to snap off more, but you won't ever be transferring damage to the cockpits that way. So I do think I would change that. But I think they just saved us there. Because, yeah, and this is a blast door here right between the wheels, which is another spot that's most likely to actually bottom out. Yeah, they got blast doors in key places on this vehicle. And even though it did bottom out, and I don't know if it actually made a hole or not, doesn't really look like it did. It seems like it's in perfect condition, which is good. Not bad at all. I like that. What else does it have it on? It looks like it's pretty much battery powered. Yep, just batteries. Make sure I'm not missing anything. It does have 2 hydrogen engines. Where are those? Oh, they're right in the front there behind those top wheels. The hydrogen engines and the batteries are up there. That's good. It has a way to refuel itself, and it has batteries so it can go a long distance before it needs refueling. It has the remote control. It has the camera. All in all, pretty darn good Rover. We're not even driving it. It's just surviving these crazy terrain in the background. Till then. Yeah, I like this Rover a lot. And it's all one grid, so it'd be easy to print. I say a good cargo hauling Rover for sure. Nice. Any more land vehicles? check out. This says survival ready, and it's straight up a camel, so... I'm very curious to see what this build is. Man, I was expecting this to be large grid. I don't know why. It's even better. Small grid. Look at this thing. It's a rocket camel. Oh, no, wait. It has an interior, too. What the heck? We're in the right terrain for it. What am I flying right now? I love it. This would be another thing to just roll up in your camel. Everyone else comes in these spaceship-looking vehicles and Star Wars-looking vehicles, speeders. You fly up in a camel. One of my favorite builds I've ever seen. This was... Gosh, this was probably like 5 years ago on one of the official servers I was playing on. A guy came to visit. I was like running a disco on the server. And a guy came to visit, and his large grid was a fish tank. It looked like a fish tank, and he had a small grid parked inside of it that was a shark. It was the coolest thing I've seen, I swear. And his shark, he like got in his shark, and it was like, this was back before DLCs and stuff, and his shark grid was like airtight and everything. Like pistoned and rotor tricks and stuff like that to like actually merge block it airtight. The top flipped open, and it was elaborate. It was quite elaborate, but he flew his shark over, and the back of the fish tank had like one of those decorative wallpapers using image to LCD conversion, so like monospace conversion. At the time, it was pretty fancy. I appreciated it. So builds like this are always good. It has cameras for its eyes too. I just noticed that. It also has a whole bunch of programmable blocks. I have no idea what they're doing. That real quick. No, it doesn't. It just says, it's a bird, it's a plane. That's the tooltip. I'm gonna push the buttons and we're gonna find out. I don't know, 1 doesn't seem to do anything. 2 doesn't seem to do anything. 3 doesn't seem to do anything. 4. We'll look at them. Oh, it has like something. PAM. It has PAM installed. That's path auto mining, right? I don't know. I've never actually used it, but I think that's what that stands for. So using PAM to use it as maybe a cargo vehicle or something, because it doesn't have any tools on it. So yeah. I've never used basically any scripts. I I've used like a battery monitoring script and a solar tracking script, and those are like the only ones I've ever used in my life. Because most of my gameplay has been on Keen servers actually, and they don't let the scripts work on them until you run out of batteries. Oh, yeah, it's unfortunate. Yeah, this one just has a ton of small batteries on it and a ton of small hydrogen tanks. That's kind of everything you'd want though. Like it has an oxygen tank. Oh my gosh, I get out of it outside of the Camel. Is the inside airtight here? It looks like it could be, but you can't really like get into it conveniently, so. And the door, I suppose you could close the door. You could also set up a vent controller that has the door close as soon as you get in the seat. Yeah, that's nice. The ability to automate some resource collection while you're building is super nice. And nothing crazy going on here. Where are these? They do have the magnetic plates on the feet. That makes sense. Yeah, that could be what they're doing with it. It's a flavor grid. Bring a little life to their region. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Is there anything I missed on this? I don't think so. Just your basic ship setup. I like it. Weird builds like this. Yeah. It's the one thing that SE really needs. And now that we have some AI stuff, at least it's still kind of a pain to set up, but it does add a lot if you go and set stuff up. Yeah, should we run on a PC? Yeah, that happens pretty quick on a lot of servers that have it. Right, we're gonna load in a, looks like a battleship. A light frigate, apparently is what this is gonna be. There we go. I have no idea if this actually flies on a planet, but I guess that's the first thing we're going to test. Make sure I'm putting this in upside right. Kind of hard to tell. Okay, yeah, I am. Looks like it flies just fine. Apparently this was a about a 40-minute speed build, which is pretty impressive. I could see it being possible if you have a shipbuilding palette where you have a bunch of different things taken apart and like off to the side, like all these wing bits and whatnot, where you can use the pieces to build a new ship. But placing all these blocks in 40 minutes from scratch, it's definitely possible, but that's pretty impressive. It looks pretty good for a speed build too. I know Panzer builds some really nice looking ships in general, and I'm sure this one would polish up really nicely, but yeah, if you have a game plan ahead of time, and especially if you have a building palette of some sort, and you build a lot of ships that look similar, you could pull it off in 40 minutes. All my builds take many hours to do, because a lot of times I don't have a game plan going in. I just I want to make a ship that does approximately this, and then I build the whole thing and spend twice as much time afterwards changing and tweaking and making it excessively nice. But that's how I like doing things. Lots of beds in here. Bathrooms. The shower faces out so everyone can see you. I find that questionable, but to each their own. You have a variety of sleeping options. You can sleep in the middle of the room, or you can sleep over here. I suppose you could get cold storage cryo sleep, and this is just for people taking a casual nap. It is mirrored. I like the new hallways. Very nice. This looks like the control room. Auto doors. Oh! Does it open automatically for me? Doesn't seem like it. Does seem like it closes though, when I get far enough away from it. Flies just fine. Oh. My vertical lift, I would say this is not, it functions on a planet, but barely. I don't know if this would fly on Pertam, to be honest. But I guess all it really needs, if it's just meant to be a spacefaring vessel, it just needs to be able to take off from the planet in the first place. And I suppose you could do a liftoff like this much more comfortably. It has a lot more thrusters on the back. So you could build it on a planet and then take it off. Yeah, I would only fly it on a planet to get it to space in the first place, and then I probably wouldn't want to fly this on a planet. It barely lifts itself, but it does. At least it does lift itself, bare minimum. So if you did build it on a planet, you could take it off into space. You wouldn't be bringing anything with you probably, unless you did an upwards facing liftoff. Because it actually does have a decent amount of thrust going this way. That's not bad acceleration. You could get to space comfortably. Jump drive seems a little dangerous to me if it is meant to be a combat ship, but I'm assuming also not supposed to be running away from them in this. If you point your front at them, the jump drive's pretty safe. Yeah. Yeah, it must be. It's enough to deter your casual pirate or the vanilla NPC combat ships. You can take out any small grid stuff with this very comfortably, and it does have a few Gatling guns or Gatling turrets on the top and bottom. It's got some blind spots. The back is a pretty big blind spot. for Gatling stuff. So if someone's doing a Hydro Man, they'd get to you pretty easily, but it doesn't matter how many guns you have. If somebody's doing that, they can get to you. You can have like 10 Gatling turrets facing straight towards them. If they fly well, they can still defeat that. So you can't really make that a criteria for being a good design if you can defeat people in jetpacks. Having the interior turrets kind of spread around your ship is an easy way to help deal with that, though. Like, you could easily slap one of those in the back. Yeah, the corkscrew, yeah, going at them, spinning, and thrusting to the side. Yeah. Turrets can't hit you. It's pretty rough. Until you stop. It's the landing part is the trickiest part. If you can land somewhere that has, like, a divot, though, where they can't see you, then you're good. And I'm looking at this thinking, any of those thruster pods back there, landing in there or landing in the gap where the jump drive is, those would be pretty easy approach points for someone in a jetpack. I'm gonna take this thing up to space. See how it handles up there. Also, it doesn't have any landing gears that I can see. I feel like it's just missing one. Like, there should be a magnetic plate. Yeah. I don't know if it was you, but somebody got on the vehicle for a little bit there. Yeah, right here, I feel like this should be a magnetic plate. That just makes sense. That's why that's big and flat. And it's the lowest point, so not sure why it doesn't have one, but I'm sure that could be added very, very easily. These recessed dock points, too. I don't know how I feel about that. I suppose if it's part of your fleet design and your stations or whatever you're docking to always has an arm, then it doesn't really matter. But I usually have my connection points on like a far out limb, like here, and then I'll put the turrets on the top and the bottom and have the door on the side or something. Yeah. Yeah, it must have been someone else then that got on the ship. I feel like we needed... those fighters that I designed are mostly designed for fighting other small grids, not really for going for large grids. I think it would be cool to design a fighter that is capable of taking on a large grid. Basically, it would just be spamming a lot more guns, so it can dish out a lot more damage. It would also be really strong against small grids, but like... yeah. Yeah. It doesn't work so good unless you, like, the rest of your fleet is designed like that, like I said. You have an easy way to access it. Also, there's no connector or anything around this. Normally you'd have, like, a connector close to your airlocks when you dock with something. Like, it would work right underneath it if you could do that. And, yeah, those are really recessed over here as well. So you do have connection points. Railgun spam. I think, honestly, autocannon spam or assault cannons, I think would be the way I would go. Autocannons, if you have like 10 of them, they can dish out a significant amount of damage. You'll also run out of ammo super fast. I think if you did railguns, you would just need so many batteries that you'd have to have like a really large small grid to spam railguns. And then you might not be as agile as you could be if you used autocannons or something like that, where you could make your ship a little more compact and a little bit lighter, because you don't need as many batteries mostly. Yeah, the autocannons are kind of... I think all the small grid stuff, except maybe assault cannons, they don't do great against heavy armor. And a lot of the April is heavy armor. I actually haven't looked in the back area. This is the engine room. I'll turn my lights off. I like the way this looks. That's pretty cool, actually. You like that. Yeah, this is pretty nice. I like the engine room on this vehicle. I don't know about... yeah, I don't know. I like it. They have gyroscopes in kind of weird orientations for questionable reasons. It looks cool. That's not how I would put them, though. Yeah, 2 autocannons, not much. I think like 6 minimum if you're going to try and deal damage to a large grid. You use 6 autocannons. You might be able to actually shred some of the light blocks or destroy some turrets pretty quickly with that. Or thrusters, going after thrusters. I think I was in the first fight we did against the large grid, which was not... The large grid wasn't quite set up right for it in that first fight, but I had... I want to say I had a Raven or something for my small grid, and I had 4 autocannons, and I was actually taking out the small thrusters, the hydrogen thrusters, pretty quickly with those. So I think if you had 6, 8, 10 autocannons, you could shred through them pretty darn fast. And you could still make a relatively compact ship that's maneuverable and is hard to get hit with the large guns. You just do like the same corkscrew tactic as you would with a jetpack, and you can minimize the amount of time you're getting hit. Honestly, I think technically the Gatling gun still has like the highest DPS. But I like autocannons, they sound cool. Autocannons are very satisfying to fire. I like the big turret on top here. And the turrets are staggered fairly well, aside from the Gatling guns, which are kind of like recessed and can't shoot forwards. But I assume that's more of a point defense thing. If you wanted them to be more functional, you could put them like up here on the pods. That wouldn't be bad. They do have a little bit of variety on the bottom here. It's not perfectly mirrored. They have a down connector. These side connectors are tricky to hook up. All in all, not bad, honestly. This thing's only like, what, 11,000 PCU? Yeah, so you could comfortably build this on like a vanilla server, and honestly, probably nicer than most of the ships on the server if you're on a vanilla server. I don't know, I've seen a lot of bricks on those servers, including the stuff I build. I usually build bricks on those servers, so. Not bad, though. Alright, this is the 3rd time I'm getting this ship out. Hopefully I can figure it out this time. I can never tell which side's up, side right for this one. They did explain how the missiles work somewhere, though, this time they said. So, the missiles run on scripts, blah, blah, blah. You have to look at a target and press 7 on the hotbar. And then when the sound block activates and changes sound, you can fire using 8. Make sure the bay doors are open first. Alright. Let's plop another one of these in. We'll just put it over there. I think I can target grids that are friendly. I guess we'll find out. And I did paste it in upside right. What do you know? It was a 50-50. Alright, so I need to look at a grid. I'm looking at a grid. I don't know if I'm too far away though. I'm gonna get a little closer. Okay. That feels better. We'll even target lock it just to do it. This thing really does not slow down. Forgot about that. It's going fast, but it doesn't slow down. Well, we're only a kilometer away, so hopefully the turrets work, or the missiles work. So open the missile bays. Let's just go ahead and turn on the welders. Now I press 7. And I need to wait for this to change tones. It says you must look at a target and press 7 on the hotbar first. When the sound block activates and changes sound, you can fire using the 8. It doesn't seem like the sound is changing, so it might be that that's not an enemy vehicle, so I'm gonna go change the ownership on that one real quick. I'm a little worried they're gonna start firing at each other if I do that, but we'll find out. I'm gonna turn it too so we can watch it blow up from the side. Alright, the tarantula's on that now. Let's try this again. I don't think the audio is going to change. I'm just going to try pushing 8. Maybe it already has changed and I just didn't notice. Alright. I mean, it kind of looks like it's working. You should see the missile coming off the top of the screen. There it is. Hey! Okay, yeah, so it is actually definitely working. Oh, that's sick. I like that a lot. Let's try this again. 8. 8. 8. I like how it just fires one at a time and it knows which ones are there to fire. I'm gonna watch. You can barely see them trickling in from the top there. Boom, boom. They're going right through now. That was pretty cool. Let's launch the rest of them. They always hit in the same place. It's like they just hit the center of the grid. That's probably what the script is doing. They work really well, though. Okay, yeah, so when you push 7, the initial sound is a different warning sound. And then it changes. Yeah, center of mass, that's kind of what it looks like. Because the rotation axis could be just about anywhere, but the center of mass would be a good thing to target, so that's probably what they're doing. That's pretty cool. I like that. That I just never do. I also really do like the blue, like, trim around the entrance here. It kind of gives it that force field look. Which is pretty cool. I'm going to delete that. I'm going to spawn in April and just compare the missile system. So it's like a scripted missile thing. And this is just with the new AI blocks. I have so many versions of this, holy cow. Where is our target? I don't know. Yeah. A lot of them are like really small, like I painted it slightly different or I added a block, but like I blueprint obsessively because my graphics driver like just randomly crashes and stuff fairly often for this game, so work. I also upload stuff to the workshop long before it's complete, just so I have a copy of it not on my PC. It's a little bit different because mine don't launch up or down. Mine just launch directly at the vehicle. But I can launch them a different way. Really just does not like when you do that. So I'm gonna try just launching them up. See if they track nicely. They track at all. What are they doing? I think they have to be transferred to me. Like, I think those are just going to fly off because they're stupid and they only target enemies, and they probably think that this is a neutral because it was owned by nobody, my whole grid. We're going to try firing down. It's so strange. I've tested these about 1,000,000 times, and I've never had issues with them just like not targeting like they are recently. Like they're just flying off into the distance right now. Not entirely certain why. They have a valid target right there. It could be the version of the ship that I'm using. The missiles are kind of wonky on. Everything else works though. Yeah, I don't know. Missiles are being stupid again today, just like last time I did this. That's alright. Do I have any other thing? Yeah, there was a lot fewer this week, and that's alright though. If we run out of things to look at, I'll probably start building my my ship for the build competition for this month. Paste in all of the NPC stuff and start hacking something together. Yeah, that's alright. Some days are always going to be busier than others. This one I actually do need to load the world for, though. Where do I find, I guess it's new games from the workshop? Yeah. That can be hard sometimes, getting inspired to do stuff. I'm lucky. I usually have more plans to build things than I have time to build things, so whenever I'm around, it's like, mine is choosing which thing I want to build at the time. Yeah. Star Wars has a lot of interesting ship designs. I haven't really gotten into modeling ships from shows or movies or anything myself, but yeah, I think it's mostly because in Space Engineers it's kind of tricky to do that kind of stuff. And I've played other space games that it's a lot easier to do that. So I played Ventreian, which is the shipbuilding in that game. You can do modeling a lot easier because it doesn't have static block sizes. Like you can resize everything and all the shapes. So I did a lot of ship designing in that game that was modeling of other vehicles from series. I got that out of my system then. I don't play really Ventreian much anymore. I had some friends that got really into it. They kind of rotate between games every 2 weeks or something like that. And I like sticking to the same game long term. Alright, so we spawn in. And there's this ball here. Oh, that's cool. I like the big fan up there. The flickering LCDs. Classic. Yeah, a lot of my friends have that. They really burn out on certain games. And I think a lot of people in general do, but I don't seem to. There's certain games that I just never burn out on because I always have ideas. And it's always the sandbox ones. Like I don't ever really burn out on the sandbox games. As long as there's other people around to like do stuff with, I can play Space Engineers or Minecraft for for forever pretty much. But a lot of people they burn out on like creativity, which is something I never have an issue with, but like a lot of people do. So I understand. They're just like, I don't even know what to do. I don't know. Keep your helmet open while you're on the islands. Okay. I will open my helmet. Turn admin tools on to start the game. I mean, my admin tools are on. Down here. 3 asteroids. The current one you're in is the living quarters. The other 2 are the lab and control. Lab/control and hangar. Okay. Game mode, deathmatch, last engineer standing. The last one standing after 20 minutes is up. This is kind of a cool concept. I've always wanted to make like a deathmatch arena for this game, but yeah, I've never actually done it. Or it's just off, whatever. I was wondering what the deal was with that. Alright, so we have, this is living quarters. This is like a main central area. I like the lighting in this. I could see it being interesting. Oh, your jetpack is turned off in this world. I was gonna say, if your jetpack's turned on, you can just go wherever you want. I hate ladders so much, but this is cool. It has like the old parkour regions. If you really want to climb up somewhere tricky. I might have to, I just want to look around. So I'm just going to use the creative mode. And you can climb up really far up here if you want. I suppose it gets you up onto this top deck in a different way, other than the staircase over here, which goes to all the different floors, but is completely exposed to the interior of the room. Not a bad design. And this looks outside, so you can fire at other people through this, because these are not airtight or anything. That's kind of cool. Storage crates. There's interior turrets. I wonder if the interior turrets actually fire on people here. Does this launch you? This totally looks like it launches you onto that platform up there, which would be really cool. I'll try that out in a second. I just want to look around the inside of this a little bit more. A nice balcony here. It does look like you could get outside onto this, though, which worries me a little bit. This is a massive battlefield. You'd have to have a lot of people to keep the action fast-paced on this map. Otherwise, it would just be like a lot of sneaking and hiding and shooting around corners. I like these bridges, though. Small grid suspension bridge, kind of. Or just hanging bridge. Ooh, it's really dark there for a bit. Pretty cool. Is there anything down here? What's on each floor? Oh my gosh, there's like rooms on all the floors. Can you imagine trying to find people on this? This might be too big for the pace that I would want to play at. This is almost the size of like a battle royale arena, where like you need it to be shrinking as you play just so that you can find people. Pretty darn cool though. I don't recognize any, like I recognize Splitsy and Keen Software House. Like I'm sure these are something else that maybe I should recognize, but I don't. And this is Ph.D. composer's icon. This is pretty cool. I mean, this would be cool just as a base in general. Look at all this craziness. Oh, this is actual like voxel vine stuff. Gross. It's all stringy. All right, let's try the flinger. That's what this looks like it is. Whoa. How does this not kill you though? You just don't have fall damage on or something? That's really like a neat feature though. Just flings you across to the other side here. And this one you can just run around on top of. Ah! Sounds like I'm suffocating. Oh no, it's like a nasty tunnely area on this one. Oh yeah, fighting in this would be kind of crazy. We haven't been over to... Where have we been? This place is way too large. Oh, so we started over there. It has these towers that come out the top. I'm not entirely certain. Oh, they're just big staircases with a bunch of floors. Okay. I was gonna say, if these are like detailed interiors, it's just so big. It's too much. I assume this one's pretty much the same. This would be a decent map if you had like a capture the flag thing on it, where you had to like capture the zones. Because then that would draw the people together. It's just so large, you almost need some sort of mechanic on a map like this to draw everyone together. So many LCDs. Dang, yeah. Classic names. I like how there's hallways like that. Got another orb here. Yeah, basketball court. What do you know? That was kind of cool. What is this? It's like a stage dance floor area. And this is all still in like the main area. The main place we look through. I think it would take exceedingly long time to look through this entire place. But I do want to look a little bit through each of the, like the bigger rooms. The spinning reactor. Some fog lights. Like all this tubing. It's definitely a modded block look. I wonder how long it took to make this entire thing, because it is very detailed and it's massive. A control room. All right. Nice looking control room. Power. So many nooks and corners. You could play hide and seek on this map and you could have like 20 people online, and it would take you hours to find all of them if you're trying to find everyone. It'd be a good map for playing hide and seek where like one person hides and everyone else is seeking. And as soon as like the first person finds them, it's over. Because it would take forever. It's another control room of some sort. That's like the reactor asteroid. What do we got over here? The landing asteroid. Got the lower landing area. A bunch of trucking crates, or what are these called? Yeah, transport crates. Neat look. Lots of ladders that are extreme shipping containers. Yeah, shipping crates, shipping containers. My vocabulary fails me sometimes. I like these hanging lights. They're a nice industrial look. Another control station. Oh, this one's just over the abyss here. A little spooky. A Minecraft floating island structure, but in Space Engineers, and then somebody built a whole bunch of stuff on it. Really long docking thing that just brings you to the dirt. It doesn't actually bring you inside. You have to like climb some janky ladders to get inside. All those just also take you to the surface. This is some sort of custom turret. I wonder if there's controls for those different things in certain rooms. So like you can control the turrets and just shred people, but they're gonna know exactly where you are as soon as they hear the turret firing. There are also a lot of interior turrets. I wonder if you can control those or like claim them for yourself. That'd be neat. Put some rocket launchers and crates here and there. Pull out a rocket launcher and blow somebody up. I think this is a pretty cool thing. I don't know how it would actually work as a PvP map. It's so huge. Like I think it's really cool, but I would have to try it to really be able to judge if it's just too big or if it's actually functional and fun to do. I've never been a big, not in many years have I been a big first-person shooter fan, but I would try it. This is the kind of thing I would try at least once, see how it goes. It's cool though. A lot more detailed and elaborate than I thought it was going to be. You could explore this for like many hours and probably still be confused when you walk into a room. Well, we are gonna... Yeah, it's massive. I saw pictures of it, so I knew it was gonna be big, but until you actually start walking around inside and realize that it's not like a fully furnished and like inside all of these is massive, I realize how crazy large this entire thing actually is. Yeah, I mean, it probably would be, but you just run it on a world where this is the only thing in the world. So you just load this up and that's that kind of thing. It's running okay on my PC in a single player setting, but that's fairly promising because my PC has trouble with things fairly often. I have an older PC setup, so... And it feels like it's running smoothly, so it'd probably be fine if you didn't have it on like a server where there were a ton of other grids elsewhere. If it was the only thing, it would probably be fine. I like how I had the wrong thing in the top left corner the entire time I was looking through that. I knew that was going to happen eventually, but minor details. Alright, I think I'm going to start working on building my event ship for this month. I have no idea what I'm going to exactly do with it, so I'm going to need some input on that. But I'm going to restart the stream real quick just so I can split the VOD easily, and we'll be right back.